Welcome to a fresh video here on the channel. It's official. Last night was the first round of the 2024 AFL draft, and with pick 3, the Carlton Football Club selected Jagga Smith. A lot of discussion over the last month or so, even longer, around pick 3, pretty much since Carlton traded up to get the pick, and we finally have clarity as to who the player is, and that's Jagga Smith. So in this video, first of all, I want to welcome him to the Carlton Football Club. It's a very exciting time, and there are so many talking points around this that came through, and we're going to go through them one by one. So this is what we know about him. He's born on the 28th of January 2006. He's from the Oakleigh Chargers. He is classified as a hybrid midfielder, and not only is he from the Oakleigh Chargers, he's the captain of the Oakleigh Chargers. Now, I think a lot of the conversation throughout draft period sort of started with Finn O'Sullivan, given the link to Sam Walsh and being second cousins. And that was there for quite some time. And then we started watching highlights. Sid Draper was a name that we saw. We saw Harvey Langford as a name as well. And in a really funny way, Jagga, I think he caught the attention of the masses very, very late. I saw an article about him day of the draft by friend of the channel, Chloe. And it was interesting because when I first spoke to Pommy and Dylan when we did the initial video around pick 3, there was almost this assumption that Richmond would take Jagga Smith. Now that was a few weeks ago now, nearly a month ago. And so it was a bit of an afterthought. There was an assumption that he wouldn't be available with pick 3. Richmond obviously end up taking Sam Lawler, and North Melbourne go with Finn O'Sullivan. So that left us with Jagga Smith. Now, if you look at his year, he was arguably, if not the best performed player in the draft class in 2024. You know, this included a 50 disposal game for Oakleigh. He averaged over 25 possessions a game in the 3 games that he played for Richmond's VFL side. So getting the ball, using the ball, not an issue whatsoever for him, and I'm excited for him. When I looked at his highlights and when I look at the rhetoric around him, 2 words come to mind, and these 2 words are incredibly important words and themes for Carlton moving forward. What I saw was consistency and durability. Now, these are 2 themes that I think have plagued Carlton for many years, and when you break it down, like, yep, you've got a guy like Finn O'Sullivan who can change a game with his aerial ability. You've got a guy like Sid Draper, who we've all seen the highlights. You know, he's got that burst of speed, but consistency and durability are 2 very, very important factors for us moving forward. So he averaged a goal a game in his final 7 games for Oakleigh. He went at over 80% disposal efficiency in the National Carnival for Vic Metro, and I'm sure he's going to be a great addition to the club. Now, Nick Austin said a couple of things about the pick. He said, "You'd struggle to find a more impressive young person and player than Jagga. He's one of the standout leaders in his draft class, which was reflected in his captaincy duties throughout the year. And he's someone who we think can offer a real point of difference to our midfield for a long time. He's the #1 ball winner for his age, but more than that, he gets bang for his buck with his ball use. We love what he's able to do in traffic. He's someone who really relishes the contest side of the game, and he's been incredibly consistent for Oakleigh, Vic Metro, and the under-18 Australian side, and even Richmond in the VFL. So let's take a look at what he had to say to Nat Edwards immediately after being drafted.
Now, there was always going to be a lot of intrigue around pick 3 and what Carlton did with it, because they made a bold move, didn't they, in the trade period to get up and secure it. When did you get a bit of a word from the Blues that perhaps your name would be called with pick 3?
I didn't get a word at all.
Oh.
No one let me know at all, to be honest. So to be at a great club like Carlton, I'm so thankful, and for them to put the trust in me to best perform, I think that means a lot to me, and I'll give everything I can.
And you'll be joining a star-studded midfield. I mean, the reigning Brownlow medalist and Patrick Cripps is there, Sam Walsh as well. But you liken yourself more to a Zach Butters. Talk to us about that comparison.
Yeah, so I liken myself to Zach. I think with his ability to be quick, he's got really quick feet. He's a similar stature to me, and he attacks the footy pretty hard. So he's the player that I look up to most, and I caught up with him last Friday, and he really gave me a bit of advice of what to expect in the AFL.
And you finished school last year, Jagga, which is a little bit of a point of difference, I guess, to many of your peers. Do you think that helped you this year play great footy? Because you were a ball magnet everywhere you went.
Yeah, I think it definitely did help me. I'd say that year out, opened up a bit of free time, and I think I was able to make the most of that through doing just a bit of extra work and being a bit more professional. So I tried to gain that edge over the other draftees, but yeah, I would say it definitely helped me this year.
And mate, that's him. That's Jagga. He's arrived. I must say, I hadn't heard him speak until pretty much this week. I hadn't seen much of him, and I like the way he speaks. He seems to have this quick-wittedness in his mind when he's talking to people. He's on the money. He's on the ball with his conversation. And you got to remember, he's 18 years of age right now. And so he's going to need time to grow into himself, learn about who he is. There is this expectation and this weight that comes with being a Carlton Football Club player, particularly in the first round and particularly in the top 3. So we need a guy that's going to be able to handle that. We need a guy that's got high character. And, I just want to wish him all the very best. You got to get right behind him. That's a non-negotiable. We have to get right behind him. I think there's always going to be a discussion here or there. Should have done this, should have done that. That's just the nature of the beast, agreeing and disagreeing. Everyone's got their biases for what they like. But, the reality is we need to get this pick right. It needs to be done right. If you go through the drafts from 2015 was a good one. 16, 17 onwards, we're talking about first round picks that for the most part aren't even at the club anymore. Some of them aren't even in the league. So that's a non-negotiable. We have to bring a player into the club that's going to be with us for a very long time, and we have to pick a guy that's going to contribute. And there is this weird assumption I've seen online that we have to win now, and if we don't pick a guy that's going to come in and help us win the premiership now, then what are we doing? Well, firstly, I don't see why he can't come in straight away and impact. Secondly, he's 18 years old, and the people that are going to be the difference between us winning the flag or not are Charlie, Harry, Walsh, Cripps, Wiedering, and these guys. Jagga's going to come in and do his thing. He's going to need some time to adjust to the level. One thing he has shown, however, is that he's played 3 games in the VFL and he doesn't seem to be out of place at all. So we've got a great talent, and a lot of the players taken in the top 10, if not the first round, they're all extremely talented. Now this is a test of the Carlton Football Club. This is a test of the culture, the environment that we've built, and it's a test of the leaders that we currently have to make sure that the environment is one where a player like Jagga can come in, play a role and thrive, and hopefully be a superstar of the competition. But at the end of the day, he just needs to come in, contribute, be available, be durable, and be consistent. So wishing him all the best. I'm excited to have a new player at the club. He was a Collingwood supporter, and that seemed to change pretty quickly. So I think he's well aware of the gravity of the club that he's at, and looks to be a great kid. And I can't wait to see him play and see what he can do, and we'll go from there. What about you? What do you think? Where were you situated on draft night last night? And what do you think about the pick? What do you know about the pick? Chat to you in the comments. We'll go from there.